Good evening, kids. Good evening, parents, chess teachers. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about Catalan opening. That is a very popular opening among the grandmasters. And I noticed some advanced kids, they like to play this opening. We'll also talk about the strategy of sacrificing a rook for a minor piece and Grandmaster and world champion Magnus Carlsen is specialist for that kind of strategy. So let's see first what the Catalan opening is. Well, we have d4, and here you can develop with a move g3. So this is how Catalan starts. Basically, you want to fianchetto the bishop to g2. It is very safe for white, and there are some really incredible games that are created with this opening. So I would suggest that you continue your studying of this opening if you like it. Bishop e7, bishop to g2, castling, and d takes c4. So that's the main line in Catalan. Black also can do other moves like c6 and knight bd7 and b6. Like this kind of line is a little bit passive, right? Black can play knight d7 and b6, bishop b7. But of course it is playable, and there are also people they like to play that way. But d takes e4 is a very, very popular move. Knight a3. Well, let's see what's the idea of this move. Knight goes to the side of the board and wants to capture the pawn on c4. And now we have bishop to a3. Well, bishop is a very important piece, right? The dark colors are very important, but Grandmaster Giri wants to trade the piece. He wants to keep the pawn on c4, and there are double pawns here. So certainly it is not easy to play those kind of positions with a white. But let's see how Magnus Carlsen now uses those two bishops to create activity on the chessboard. Bishop d7, a4. It's clear. The idea of a4 is to bring the bishop to a3. Bishop c6, bishop gets into the game, and here queen c2. Now, white developed the pieces. Black still has a problem with the knight on b8. Now, next move is knight d7, rook c1, a6, and queen takes on c4. Well, at the moment, there's the same number of the pawns on the board. Those pawns are double pawns here, but actually pawn on a4 is not bad at all. It is creating some troubles for the black on a queen side. And if you can play a move like a5, that would be quite nice, right, for white. But black here plays knight b6 and captures that pawn on a4, queen b3. Now, black is a pawn up, but white has two bishops on the board, right? So that's the trade. Queen d5, and now this is, of course, the most important moment of the game. Pay attention to this position, and remember, look, Magnus Carlsen takes rook c6. This is a very high level of strategy. Difficult to play those kind of moves. You really have to have a good understanding of the chess game in order to play such a moves. But let's see what is it that Magnus wants with this move? Well, he's giving a rook for a bishop, and after knight e5, activating all white pieces. Pay attention to the bishop on g2, how powerful it is. Knight is very strong on e5. The rook can get into the game. The queen is very active. The bishop is very active. So the idea of this sacrifice is that all white pieces are very, very strong. Now queen b5, and of course you don't want to trade the queen in those kind of positions. So queen goes to c2, knight d5, and rook b1. Okay, so all the white pieces are very active. Queen a5, and now again an extremely difficult move to play. Magnus is trading bishop for a knight. He's removing this knight because the knight in the center is strong, and Magnus figured out the best is to take that knight. Now we can see that, of course, queen cannot take because the knight on a4 is hanging. So pawn takes and rook captures on b7. Anish Giri is exchange up. That means he has a rook for a bishop. But Magnus has wonderful knight on e5, great rook on b7, the bishop on a3, fabulous, and the queen can get into the game to f5. Now, pay attention to the black king. There are no pieces around the black king. There is no protection. That means the king can get checkmated. c5, queen goes to f5. The attack now is very strong. Rook f8, knight takes on f7. Pawn takes on c5, and queen takes on f6. Well, let's study that move as well. Why queen f6? Like you would think, okay, Magnus is attacking. He wants, maybe he can win the game, right? Just by attacking the king. But Magnus calculated the endgame. He figured out that he can simply transition the game from the attacking position into the endgame and win this endgame. So check, pawn goes to c6. Pawn is very unpleasant. Rook c8, pawn goes to c7. Look at the black pieces. They cannot move. Pay attention to the knight on the side of the board. Rook on a8. Bad pieces. Knight c3, bishop goes to b2, d4, check, and knight d6. So Magnus is now winning the rook. King f1, another precise move before he takes on c8. And here now we have a situation where the bishop is stronger than a knight. And after this move, basically there are no chances. The black is completely in a losing position. White has a 5 pawns against 3 pawns. The bishop much stronger than a knight. Rook much more active than a black rook. And here Grandmaster Anish Giri resigned the game. Again, great strategical game. In this game, we've learned the strategy of playing with the 2 bishops. And we've learned the strategy of sacrificing the rook on c6 for a bishop. The most important position, I will remember this game by looking at this position, right? Rook c6, and then of course we also learned that the king needs a protection, And you see here in this case, after Magnus removed, this is maybe the most difficult strategical move, bishop d5, like removing that knight and then creating the attack on the king, right? And the next important moment is when the Magnus trades the queen from attacking position, goes into the transition, and those are very important strategies to learn how to transition the game into the winning endgame. And that's what we've learned. See the game, one more time by yourself. And if you like Catalan opening, you can email me and I will record more lessons for you. Bye bye.